Hi everyone, my name is Tony Callistus. I'm here with Fadil and Frederick Abiratna. Fellow collectors, we're here on Score, the very first issue of Score, powered by Lanka Comic Con for Geek TV. This is predominantly to focus on the community of collectors, the hobby of collecting, and how we can make this hobby flourish, and see what else are the roadblocks and how we can grow. So without further ado, I'll first throw the question now that everyone wants to ask about. Frederick, why is it that you collect what it is that you collect?
It's pretty much just a hobby, to be honest.
Is this since childhood or?
Yes, of course I grew up with toys, Legos, figures and all this growing up, but at a certain point they just all disappeared. I can't recall when. But I do remember when I restarted again, so when the Lego movie came out in 2014. And it was actually not the movie itself that got me excited. It's this YouTuber called iJustine. She's just mainly to tech, but randomly she just posted one video about collecting those mystery packets Lego about the Lego movie, and pretty much that just kind of set it off for me. I just also wanted to collect it and check it out. Yeah, that's pretty much where it started. Now I'm pretty much going to collecting figures. Yeah, mainly to support another hobby of mine, which is photography.
Oh wow, so, okay, we need to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Fadil?
So I had a love for cars since I was a kid. So that's the main reason why I collect model cars even now. So even as a kid I used to have a lot of Hot Wheels, Matchbox, and
so you've always been about the cars. Have you gone into any other areas like figurines?
I have actually. Just a couple of years ago I did go into figurines, but then my model cars outweighed the figurine collection, so I just thought I'll stick to model cars. So I still have a few figurines lying around here and there, but my focus right now is just model cars.
So thanks for sharing that, guys. Now Fred, you talked about Lego, and I also have a personal, I have the bug as well. But we all know it doesn't come cheap, right? And this is Sri Lanka that we're talking about. And in terms of its relevance to the community here, the people who want to get into that, like I might just have a love for a particular figure. I don't really want the entire set per se, because I'd like to take pictures of that. What could somebody who's starting off want to do? I mean, what could they do? Because it's expensive. It doesn't come cheap. Any? Not everyone's an adult collector like us.
Exactly.
Adult collector. There are also school kids out there starting off, right? So what is it that they could do if they wanted to jump in on the bandwagon?
I mean, as usual, as always, the parental support. They can bug to get this and that. But yeah, if you're getting your first job and all, to be honest, it's more of a controlled, like you have to have self-control when it comes, like when you get to a certain point in life, then you want everything, which is pretty much I think happened to most of us at one point or the other. But to be honest, it's pretty much to check out the local stores, because now it's kind of becoming it started picking up after I feel like the second year of Comic Con, just around the time I came back, then everyone started. But I remember Red.Geek was at, I believe it was Comic Con, and then after they opened their own store, Collectibles was also around. Now even the YAMATO one is around. So and Geeketch is also around. And there's a lot of different choices, and I feel like also don't forget a Jolly's toy show. So there's something for everyone right now, to be honest. Like the price range is also there, so it depends what you like, to be honest. From comics, there's something for comics, something for figures, something for cars. Like even right here, BAUTISTA'S is there. Like you get everything over here. Like it's pretty much where looking from, like you see from the model cars to like the big model cars. There's something. Talking about the scales there. There's something like you just have to be up to date, I guess, and keep a look out there. It's not that many stores, so you can like I remember everything, but that's mainly because I collect. But yeah,
that's not a bad thing. Yeah. But I suppose with each job promotion, your preferences tend to become more premium as well. And
exactly, and then that's when you want to look for something more out of the country, I guess, because obviously the toy industry is kind of pretty big. I mean, if you heard this saying, I'm pretty sure everyone's heard this, that the Star Wars movies are built as advertisements for the actual toys. And not the other way around. So there's always something new. Like all these events in America, San Diego and all, they're built around. They even have a toy fair just for toys. So they're all built around this product now. So
I follow them. I totally see where you're coming
from. So it's always there's always an evolution. Like I'm pretty sure us, like we started small. Now we're looking at bigger figures. So it just starts at every. You just need to know where to control and when to start saving. When do you want to, get out of what you're collecting now to go higher, or get a family and just stop collecting altogether.
And I think we also talked about this earlier, and I think it's very relevant. It's very easy to get swept up with what's trending and blow your entire savings on that. Right now, this is a real problem, folks. Right? I mean, you see something that's new, and whether you realize that you want it or not, you still want to blow the cash on it. So I think it's imperative. I mean, it's in our best interests to be as selective as we can, perhaps, right? I mean, Fadil, we talked about this. Like, I mean, we can't go for every car release, for example. We need to be very selective in terms of. Do you want to talk?
So yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, especially in Sri Lanka, getting down, model cars now is not exactly cheap. So for anyone who wants to start off like collecting, like say model cars, there's always Hot Wheels, which is like I think the basic, it's like the basics, right? So that's where I also started, and then gradually you find the more detailed models. You go on to Tomica, you go on to like Kyosho, you go on to and all that kind of thing. And then you might end up with a space issue, and then totally. You might have to get rid of some. So you'll basically your collecting will evolve, as new models, when you find a new model or some kind of new brand, so it will evolve with that. So you might keep your old models, or you might just you might have a specific requirement for your collection. So you'll go into that, and then that your previous models might not tally with that, so you'll probably get rid of your old models. That's personal experience.
And this is also applicable to even figures, because we talked about that earlier as well. Like the Mortal Kombat line, like is basically you have all these ninjas and they're basically palette swaps of each other. And if you have the cash, go for it, right? But if you can't, then just really be picky about what it is that you want, because you're essentially paying for the same mold, and it's just a palette swap, literally a palette swap. So you don't want to look back 10 years later and be like, is this what I blew my savings over? So when you talk about that, you talked about being able to sell what you no longer want to carry with you. In a way, that's like kind of giving back to the community also, right? Perhaps there'll be another up-and-coming collector who wants to start off his collection, and you'll be like, okay, you know what? I'll give this to you for a good price. Now that's one way of kind of growing the community. And when I say community, it's not just relegated to the Legos, the Hot Wheels, the cars, the figures. It could mean anything. Like, look at Dave Bautista. Apparently, the man collects lunchboxes, right? And I'm not making this up. This is actually true.
It's true.
Right?
He actually he got some crazy old, like classic lunchboxes and stuff like that.
So each person has their own thing, right? So what is it that you think that we could do for the community, for people to just kind of make this hobby grow? Because you might end up discovering something you never thought you liked before, and you feel like this is something you could get into. And how could you take it to the next level? Could you perhaps curate a massive collection for your descendants? I don't know, right? I mean, go nuts. What do you think?
So I think photography would be one way of doing it. I mean,
that seems to be very trending these days.
It's something I think we both share. I mean, we take photographs of our own personal collections. So that's one way, and you can go into like making your collections really stand out, with your photography skills.
And I've seen some of your pictures, and then with each shot they seem to be improving as well, so there's clearly a level of learning that you're applying,
exactly.
right?
So you basically want to get the next best shot, right?
Yeah,
so
pretty
you're
much, yeah.
you're basically learning, as you go. So photography is new to me as well. So I use my mobile phone. I think
I pretty much.
This gentleman takes a
Yeah,
lot of
he
pictures.
takes-
I know he sells his pictures as well. Like
Yeah,
I've seen
I mean,
some.
sometimes. No, I mean I don't do it regularly. Just for it's just something to get the hobby out there. To be honest, so my main thing to photography comes first, to be honest, and then figure collecting right
Okay.
now. So before I buy a figure, I judge like, okay, this is can it pose like. So I used to collect Lego before, so I was really into macro photography. So that's like really close-up shots. So that's why Lego was my main thing in the beginning. Then I got slowly into figure photography just to do posing.
Because of the
photography.
articulation.
Yeah, exactly. So usually I start collecting a few. One of my favorites is always going to be Spider-Man, because you put him any pose and it's a Spider-Man pose. To be honest.
Yeah,
he
true.
can do it. He's that flexible. And then you learn like these small tricks. So Spider-Man, other thing that comes is he floats in the air, so you can't really drop the figure and take a photograph. You can, but then you don't have any control.
You risk,
so you learn new things, like he said, like you keep learning new things. I wouldn't say I'm professional or anything, because honestly I do it on my spare time. So it's like I do it quickly over the weekend, get a bunch of photos to post over the week. So it's like it's usually 10 to 15 minute quick photo shoot. So I have the idea in my head already.
And it's relaxing also, right, when you do this?
Exactly.
Therapeutic.
It's like,
Therapeutic.
honestly, because I only do it with natural light, and also it's usually only 1 hour in a day I can actually do it. So it gives you it's very therapeutic. It gives you something else to get your mind off things. Like I go to that usually sometimes. So
Fred, Fadil, thank you so much for being here. I know we could go on forever, but our time is limited. We'll do another episode. I feel like we have unfinished topics to talk about, right? But thank you so much.
Thank you.
In the meantime, folks, thank you for joining us. This was our very first episode of Score, powered by Lanka Comic Con for Geek TV. Do let us know your feedback, right? Because we want this to grow in other ways, in other areas, and we need you to stay tuned to Geek TV. So stay tuned. We'll be back for more, and we'll talk about other things as well. Thank you.
Due to security concerns, tickets will be limited this year. Sign up to get notified when they go on sale. Once they are sold out, that's it. Visit www.lankacomiccon.lk/get-notified.